Hello दोस्तों, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Indian Pharmacist. So today's topic is pharmaceutical industry development of regulations. Myself Rishabh Sarvastu. In this video, I will tell you about how the regulatory authorities develop their regulations to control pharmaceutical industry. So welcome. So first of all, I want to make an appeal to like this video if you like it, to share it with your friends and colleagues, to make comments, or if you have any queries you can leave a comment, and foremost subscribe and press the notification bell so that you will get my new updates for new videos. So first of all, introduction. In the initially that is prior to the 20th century, it means late 19th century, drugs were generally manufactured by small scale manufacturers. Like in the past video I had told you about apothecary system, in which small manufacturers were working, which in today's date are known as big guns. There was very little regulatory control on the manufacturing of the pharmaceutical product. Although guidelines were there, laws did exist, but enforcement was not present. It means it was just negligible. In the US, increased regulations of vaccine and other biological drugs was spurred by tetanus outbreak. What happened? Actually, some of the patients which were vaccinated with smallpox and diphtheria vaccines developed tetanus, and it make first attempt to represent how a contamination can cause havoc in daily life. So some of the tragic events are mentioned here. Like first of all, like I mentioned, tetanus. Several children died of tetanus in 1901 in USA. Most of them was, as we already told, that children were died. This accident is sufficient enough to demonstrate the importance of high quality raw materials, because on investigation it was identified that raw materials were contaminated, ultimately resulting in the contaminated product. Similarly, this accident also showed that ability of animal derived materials to pass diseases, both known and unknown. It means products which are extracted from animals have contamination if the animal is already suffering from any disease. Due to this reason, in 1902 the Biologics Control Act came into existence. In 1905, a book called Jungle was published. The authors include McCracker and Upton Sinclair. This book was basically based on the hygienic condition of the meat packing factories based in Chicago. But this book had major impact on American public and Congress, resulting in passing of Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906. For the first time in history, it became illegal to sell contaminated food or meat. Contaminated means anything adulterated with unwanted substances. In 1906, the Food and Drugs Act was passed and put into law. For the first time, labeling, the importance of labeling came into existence. It means proper labeling was also required. It was mainly for any product which is dangerous or having ability to get addicted, like alcohol, opium, morphine, or something like that. So any product which are having alcohol or these products are supposed to label them and provide content claim. Inaccurate or false labeling was called misbranding, and it became illegal as per this law. shortcoming of this act was soon illustrated by 1933 FDA exhibit of dangerous food, medicines, medical devices and cosmetics. In 1938, this act was revised as Food, Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Some of the America Chamber of Horror include a worm supporter, which was basically used as contraceptive but resulted in puncture of uterus if it was used incorrectly. A weight loss drug that caused death of patients. A hair remover that caused baldness even if it was not used on head. Lotion and creams that could cause mercury poisoning. Hair dyes that could cause lead poisoning. And the eyelash dye that blinded women. In 1937, a sulfanilamide elixir manufactured by S.E. Messenger Company of Tennessee caused death of 107 people. Most of them were children. It was identified that this product contained a solvent called diethylene glycol, which is at present used as antifreeze agent. So consider how highly toxic materials were used in those days when regulations were not enforced. And if these substances are used nowadays, it could cause a havoc or a highly impacting tragedy, because batch sizes are very big and they are marketed throughout the country or all over the world. This tragedy leads Congress to pass Federal Food, Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1938. This act bound the companies for the first time to prove that their products were safe before marketing them. It means it is required to assess the safety of the product. In 1941, nearly 300 people were killed or injured by sulfathiazole tablets because these were contaminated with phenobarbital. This accident leads to the revision of the act and some manufacturing and QC requirements which are now known as GMP regulations. During Second World War, batch certification by FDA became a requirement for certain drugs. Companies were supposed to submit sample of their products to FDA, which will eventually analyze them, and it will release them for marketing only if it is complying with the specifications. Initially in 1941, this batch certification requirement was only for insulin, but later it included penicillin in 1945 and later on all other antibiotics. In 1955, Jonas Salk discovered vaccination for polio. How to manufacture that vaccine he discovered, but sooner or later all manufacturers started to manufacture polio vaccines. In this event, one of the manufacturers failed to inactivate the polio virus that resulted in development of polio in 60 people, because they were inoculated with these vaccines, but these vaccines were not inactivated, so they developed the symptoms of polio. After this incident, FDA started to ensure the safety of vaccines. Later, some regulatory agencies allowed thalidomide, which is used as sleeping pills, to treat morning sickness. It means when you are getting awake in the morning, you will not face any problem. So, this drug was allowed for sale in Europe. Later, it turned out to be teratogenic because this drug was having impact on the fetus and was causing deformities in fetuses. Pregnant lady, that too the first trimester, it means the first 3 months of the pregnancy, if they are taking this drug, they were giving birth to teratogenic children. Approximately 10,000 cases of infant deformities were reported in Europe, and these were all linked with thalidomide use. This tragedy galvanized public opinion, and legislators pushed more stringent legislations. This accident led companies to test not only to ensure that the product was safe, but that they were efficacious for their intended use. It means this accident led to the development of clinical trials and clinical regulations. It means first of them, these products are supposed to be tested on animals before marketing. If it is found safe on animals, then these are supposed to be tested on humans. Like nowadays we are getting information about trials of this COVID-19 vaccines, and we are getting information that this vaccine is under phase 1 trial or phase 2 trial or phase 3 trial. So if you wanted to know about clinical trials, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I will try my best to prepare video for that topic also. But this was the first attempt that led to the requirement of clinical trials. And this accident led to the amendment of the Act, and it became mandatory to perform clinical trials and drugs to be tested in animals before people. Investigators were made responsible for supervising drugs under study. It means whosoever is involved in the development of the drug products are supposed to be the responsible person for clinical trials and safety of the individuals which are going through clinical trials. Manufacturer was expected to inform participants if the drug was being used for investigational purpose and to obtain their consent before testing it on them. It means if any tragedy came to know that due to this investigational drug a person is suffering from any other disease or facing any side effect, it means the manufacturer is the responsible for that. And if it came to know that individual was not told that this product is under investigation, or they had not taken their consent from the individuals, it means it is a criminal offense. In 1972, one more tragedy came to know that in Devonport, UK, when 5 people died with some product which was supposed to be sterile, but it was not fully sterile and was found to be contaminated with some infections. For investigation of this event, a committee was designed, which was later known as Cloutier Inquiry, and it came to know that there was some unknown or unwritten changes made for autoclave operation, as in that time documentation was not a common practice, so they were just doing some oral procedure transfers which was going from one operator to another. But during this communication or this technology transfer, there was some miscommunication or some operator variability came to know, and it resulted in contaminated dextrose solutions which was not uniformly sterile. It was also identified that several other violations of what we know basic requirements of GMP are also the root cause. The current requirement of documented evidence may be driven by the event. Like some of my colleagues asked me what are the requirements of documentations. So it was the first evidence, it was the first tragedy that proved the requirement of documentation. Documents act as the evidence. In 1979, more than 100 infants were made seriously ill by lack of chlorides in two soy-based formulas. It means soy foods were given to these infants, but it was lacking chlorides. This incident bound the manufacturers to analyze each batch for nutrient levels and make safety checks, conduct stability tests. It means if the product is supposed to be sent to the market, it should have some shelf life, which should be established on the basis of scientific based knowledge. It means you have to charge the drug products for stability study for that certain period of time, and on that evaluation shelf life shall be given to the product. For that reason, this change in labeling system was done. It means to provide batch number or lot number along with manufacturing date and lot expiry date. That means complete batch detail on that container, on individual container. The food GMPs, which include special provisions for infants formulas, were finalized in 1980s. In 1980, Congress passed the Infant Formula Act, giving FDA authority to create and enforce standards and specify nutritional requirements for commercial infant formulas. In 1982, consumers of OTC Tylenol capsule died of cyanide poisoning. OTC means over-the-counter drugs. Like today, we are supposed to get paracetamol or some aspirin tablets from the market without any prescription. So at that time, Tylenol capsule was also known as over-the-counter product, which you can purchase from any pharmacy store. But because of its contamination with cyanide, it led to the death of some of the consumers. On investigation of production records, it was identified that it was not resulted due to contaminated raw materials, but it became contaminated during storage in the pharmacy store or at the shelves. It means it got contaminated during the supply chain. After manufacture, it became contaminated during that transportation or storage or something like that. Johnson & Johnson notified the public and recalled its entire product. This Tylenol capsule was the product of Johnson & Johnson, and they recalled their complete product. Scientists went into the overdrive to redesign the capsule to make tampering more difficult and more detectable. It means the requirement of proper packing came into existence. For that reason, now you are seeing tablets packed in blisters. Initially, they were all packed in boxes and some bigger containers, but now they are packed in blisters or some sachets, something like that. The industry as a whole re-evaluated the means of delivering over-the-counter medicines. Regulations were started updating in 1982, and they now require tamper-resistant packaging that aids in the detection of tampering. Now we are seeing some bottles with seal or something like that, which if you found that if it is broken, it means it can be tampered or something. Similarly, if the blister is damaged, it means product is exposed to the environment. Without these steps, over-the-counter pharmaceuticals could have become an unacceptable safety risk. In 1989, toxic reactions to over-the-counter L-tryptophan, a dietary supplement, resulted in 38 deaths and probably thousands of less severe reactions due to a manufacturing process change that increased the level of harmful byproducts. It means during manufacture of this product, some changes took place that resulted in generation of byproducts, which were harmful for the patients. Doses that had previously been safe now caused toxicity because of those byproducts. The same dose which was effective previously is now toxic. This accident led to clarification of requirements for characterizing drug impurities and new requirements for evaluation of minor impurities. From here we can get the information why analysis of related substances or impurities are now a basic requirement for QC and batch certification. So at the end, I would like to make an appeal again to like this video if you really like it, share it with your friends, leave the comment if you have any query or if you want to make some suggestion, subscribe and press the notification bell to get the more updation on my channel. If you have any query, you can also follow me on my Facebook page, Twitter account, and if you want some more information, you can check through the books. These books are the efforts made by the experts from academic and industrial sector. Now, thank you.